Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the Spanish Grand Prix, round 7 out of 12. We're currently in the final minutes of qualifying, and welcome back to Maxon on top of the times, with Jericho Willis not far behind Charlie Brusco, the Williams duo in P3 and 4. When we have the former championship leader, who is now Jericho Willis, in P5, and then it is Heisler in P6. Jericho Willis has just had an issue with their lap. They've backed off, and now it's going to be a big slipstream given to Heisler to try and start and complete their next lap as they go down to turn 1. They're going to gain everything they possibly can, and there you see his teammate drop away. What's the lap time going to be looking like when we go over the delta mark for the first sector into the sector 2 area of the circuit? It's Verth moving out the way. There it is, 1.5 tenths up currently on their time only in the first sector. They've got 2 sectors to keep going and get something else done. And Jericho Willis might have the chance to go again, but whether they've got enough fuel, that's the question really. Heisler continues, they go up the hill and over the crest. DRS open, and once again the sector line is upon them. What's it going to be for lap time? It's going to be 1.5 tenths again, not improving in the middle sector. The final sector is where they're going to have to gain it, but they lose it on the traction. In P6 right now, a tenth would only bring them closer to Brusco. They need to find everything here in the final stage of the lap. What's it going to be for Heisler? DRS open, crossing the line. The McLaren goes P6. They don't improve. They lose a tenth in the final sector. I do not believe it. Absolutely extraordinary. Jericho Willis will not get another lap in. That is qualifying done for them. And then we see the Portuguese poleman looking to go again for the front row of the grid. Can they get the job done? They've won a sprint race, I think, before. They just haven't quite won a Grand Prix. They want to try again, and they go P3, a 11.6 in the end for them, ahead of Charlie, who retires from the session. Verth is done. It's Sir Maxons who's improving. We've got Egapro in the pit lane, and we've got Nifo going across the line. What's it going to be for the Dutchman? It's going to go to P6, ahead of his fellow countryman. Right there, it's Heisler, who is done with their lap. It's going to be Sir Maxon on pole position on return to LSI, but we just don't know what lap time they will end up getting. Solkin P7 in the end, pushing down Heisler further. There it is with Sir Maxon, and they don't improve, but they're still on pole position by a tiny margin. And Jericho Willis, what if they didn't mess that one up there on that final run? Could they have had a go at pole position? Brilliant stuff. Sir Maxon is on top in the Haas as a reserve this time, but still looking for that glory. Jericho Willis very far ahead of his teammate once again, and looking for a strong result if they can. Could this be their first LSI F1 victory? Brusco looking for the same thing. Many around looking to repeat what they've once done in the past. It's Sir Maxon on pole position. It's Jericho Willis in P2 and Brusco in P3. Qualifying is looking a treat. How about that? Anybody could have been anywhere right then. We'll be back in a bit for the race. We'll see you in a sec. It's going to be awesome. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Sir Maxon on pole position. The inside line goes to Jericho Willis, but further in, it's going to be Sir Maxon taking the middle of the circuit. The two Williams surrounding the McLaren for a moment. Is it going to be possible? Briscoe Jr. getting on the McLaren. No, Jericho Willis gets back through, and now it's Charlie, their teammate, trying to have a go, but it's not quite going to be possible. It's still a drag race into the following corner, and after all of this side-by-side action, Sir Maxon is breaking away. They've still not given it up, and it's now the inside line and ahead to Briscoe. We've got Nivo in P5, Egapro ahead of Heischler and Verf in P8, Solkin down to P10 after an incident off the start there, which we didn't get to see, unfortunately, for the Ferrari driver. They are P last. What's it looking like? It's damage for the Norwegian. What a shame, what a disaster for the beginning of their race, but what a fairy tale for Sir Maxon. A 1.4 second gap already. Briscoe Jr. now trying to hunt down the champion if they can. Jericho Willis, the F1.5 champion, did have to give that position up eventually, but we have a look at the tyre situation. They're all on medium tyres except from Tom Robb on the soft tyre. Sir Maxon gets the medium tyre fastest lap, gets the fastest lap of the race in the early stages. It's Nivo who tucks in behind the Williams. It was Egapro who was almost having a look at, well, they're having a look at their braking point really, but in the end Nivo didn't want to go for the move on Charlie just up in front. Sir Maxon continues to lead. Briscoe brings down 2/10, but it's still going to be a tough ask. DRS and ERS is going to be a crucial part of this race, and it's going to be side-by-side defensive throws by Nivo to stay ahead of Heischler into turn 5. Up through the hill though, they're not really going to find a way through. Dirty Air, especially in the F125 game, will compromise Egapro very heavily, and it's 1.1 seconds. Briscoe continues to put that pressure on. They're almost there, but will they get it by the end of this lap, or is it not going to be enough? I think they might have just missed out. All their efforts will go down the drain. Jericho Willis also missing out on DRS from Briscoe. It's going to unleash Charlie to be able to go for a move on DRS, and that's also Jericho Willis going all square over the curb and completely losing it. They didn't spin the car, but they almost did, and they have definitely lost a lot of time. Charlie not able to get there. DRS was still available for Jericho, and that's a massive gain now for Sir Maxon after the big push from Briscoe. Means they have no battery at all to use on the straight. It was a very good effort, but they've got to think of something different. Jericho Willis or Charlie has to try and get in front. Nivo has to get in front. Anyone in the train directly behind has to get in front. Tom already onto a set of hard tyres on lap 3 of this race. We've seen Solkin go for an earlier stop as well onto a set of medium tyres to get a new front wing, and they're going to try and take their race as long as they possibly can. Briscoe continues and is trying their best to find some pace, but it's not quite so simple. They do maintain or regain the gap that they had from earlier on, but without any battery now, it's super difficult to really do much about it. Jericho Willis holding onto DRS range, but not in attacking position to get a move done on Briscoe and have clean air. The first few laps, difficult for many, but brilliant for our former champion. And they left on the final season, or they actually left at the beginning of this season. They've come back for a race to see what they can do, and they are enjoying it quite nicely. 1.6 seconds is the gap now as they continue to brake a little bit more slowly but surely. It's Jericho Willis quite sideways through the S corners there, trying to keep the car in a straight line. That balance looks pretty rough to deal with, but maybe they're enjoying it, and we'll see how the race evolves later on. Charlie very close to the back of the McLaren now, but that double DRS isn't exactly making it easy for them to gain anything But would they be close enough this time with maximum battery to use? Would they have a go at Jericho Willis into the first corner? DRS available. ERS is being used. Here it is. The attack is on. Jericho pushes as well, but it's not going to be enough. There is going to be a fight. There's going to be a move. There's going to be a switch to the outside line, and Jericho Willis is going to have to just let that one go. I don't think they fought it very hard either, to be honest, as they broke pretty easily. They're also going to lose a position though to Nifoyan, as they've just been caught napping. It's Nifo to the inside, and it's Jericho Willis backing off immediately. They've got to stop losing the momentum, because otherwise Eagle Pro is going to be next. And there it is. Nifo and Charlie both make progress, and now they catch up, or they look to try and catch up to Brusco. 1.05 seconds though, half a tenth away is Charlie from their teammate, and they're not in DRS range. It's too late to get that DRS. Nifo's going to have a brilliant chance to catch up to Charlie. Would they slingshot then to Brusco? Here we go. It is DRS for Nifoyan, 0.6 back, not an attacking position realistically unless they used everything. It wouldn't be an efficient way to make a move, and they will stay behind for now. But it's 0.9 between Charlie and Brusco. This is the battle. This is the gap that we've got to try and figure out. That's a mistake there for Brusco. So Charlie will be able to gain a little bit more. Samaxon gains slightly, and it's a new hunter instead of Jericho Willis. It's now going to be Charlie to catch up to Brusco to see if they can then push their teammate with them to catch up to the race leader. They're all hunting down P1 at this stage. The two Ferraris, of course, making their earlier pit stops, having difficult starts to their races. P2 to P8 though, all in the train at the moment. 0.8 between Jericho Willis and Nifo. Jericho struggling relative to what they were finding earlier on, but in qualifying they had the outright pace. We know it's there, they just need to try and find it a little bit more in the race, and it's the early stages, lap 6 going on to lap 7 of the Grand Prix. We've still got a long way to go. It's 0.3 gained by Brusco. Brusco on fire at the moment, pushing the limit, and Charlie, who was looking to try and make an overtake, is now not going to be anywhere near, and they'll have to wait another lap. Brusco doing a phenomenal job in that lap there to make progress back on Samaxon. It has actually brought everybody with them, except from Jericho Willis, who looks like they've maybe lost out, and that could be it. DRS could possibly endanger here, and it's Eagle Pro, the first one to react, to make a decision. Do they try and let Jericho catch back up, or do they try and put the pressure on Jericho sooner rather than later? Well, Jericho is responding quite nicely, and I think they've got the job done. They don't need to get a hurry up at all from anyone behind, because they're back in the race. It's 1.1 seconds, 1.2, it fluctuates. Brusco's definitely putting that pressure on quite nicely. Samaxon holds P1, starts the following lap, and they'll try and navigate this game that the cars behind are having. And it's not going to be easy. It is going to be an overtake attempt by Heischler on Eagle Pro, a big oversend into the corner, and it's going to be a switchback, easy as you like for Eagle, and 1.3 seconds is now the gap, even bigger than it was before. It was a little bit of a shame to see that one go that way. It's going to be now Verf to the inside line, your former championship leader this season, trying to have a go, and they're on the outside line into the following corner. Heischler's going to completely lock up and go straight into the side of Verf right there. They do now have the inside line, and they will stay ahead, but they've now got no DRS on Eagle Pro, and it's an interesting one. Verf trying to give it a shot, but it's now completely backfired, and they're going to have to try and slingshot to catch up to Eagle, otherwise they're going to be in big trouble. The gap between the top few is still pretty difficult. As tight as it can be. We've got P1, P2, P3 and P4 all chasing down. Then we've got a gap with Jericho Willis and Igapro, and then Heischler. It's Verth who's going to have a look at Heischler into turn 1 and then get the move done. And so far we see the two Williams stay as they are. Nothing changing at the moment. Nothing they really can do. They're under threat from Nifo, so as soon as they try and switch anything, if they wanted to, then the racing ball car would be in a position to pounce and snap away something from it. We had a famous race a little while ago where everything went completely crazy. There was wing everywhere. Hopefully we don't have that repeat again today. That's a yellow sector for a moment with Sulkin in the final corner. Hopefully that's nothing more than a minor issue. That is Nifo in the hairpin, taking a different line. In this race, lap 9, about to start lap 10. Definitely finding a rhythm, but it's Charlie who doesn't find the rhythm as they make a mistake and they lose a lot of momentum. Nifo, are they going to make the call to push for the overtake? Well, I think by the time we get to this point of the circuit, it's not really going to be that much momentum. They're going to turn the battery off after using some of it, and Charlie still defends. They don't want to go for it, but now they might have to into the following corner because Charlie's just gone to the inside line, and that slight deviation isn't going to help them on what they've already lost. DRS is no longer, but guess what? DRS is now Brusco's. Brusco Jr. going to be hunting down the Samaxon, the rookie versus the champ. What's it going to be between the front two? If Charlie's not careful, if Charlie can't find a little bit of performance in these following corners, then it's all over. It's going to be between the top two. Charlie and Nifo will not be able to do anything about it. Charlie effectively has half a lap to do something about this, and they are pushing. They are trying to make it work. It might be possible. It's crucial that they do have a shot at gaining in these final few corners. It looks like they might be able to get the job done. 1 second is as tight as it's ever going to be in Formula 1, and they've just missed out in the final moments. I do not believe it. Charlie gave it a good shot, but they might have to allow Nifo to go through if Nifo's got the battery, because the top two are going to be breaking away. Nifo gains, wants to try and switch, but Charlie uses the battery to defend, and now they lose even more time instead, and it's not going to help at all. Nifo's frustrated in the background there. You can see them moving around. All of a sudden, everything is split up. Jericho Willis and Igapro fighting, Heischler and Ver fighting. It's P1 and P2. Charlie has just held on to DRS range as they've managed to gain it back. So far, will they continue that for the rest of the lap for when it actually counts in the start-finish straight? Can they gain it? Can they be in the battle for the first place position? If they're definitely putting that pressure on, you can see, but they're also putting the pressure on themselves as the rear end is stepping out as they try to heat up, power through, catch up. Charlie once again in the middle to final sector loses it, and DRS is no longer available. Brusco Jr. will be able to gain some more back on Samaxon as they have that free DRS and no troubles from behind, and the DRS and ERSB is used by Nifo, and they will catch up, but not enough to be on the attack this time. No problems at all. We don't see a switch as Jericho Willis stays behind Igapro, or sorry, stays ahead of Igapro. Igapro may be happy with Jericho's pace at the moment, not thinking that they could do much different. 2.3 seconds is the gap that splits them. They're not too far away. They can see what is going on just in front of them, but it's just a little bit too far to actually get anything done. Briscoe continues to try and pursuit Samaxon. Charlie this time is going to have DRS, and after all of that, it was worth staying ahead of Niffa. Would it be possible that Briscoe's going to have a look at trying to gain a position in the following lap before the pit stops? Pit stops will be coming in at some point. We're on the mediums for the most part. Verf has just made that pit stop, and we're going to see many cars react, I'd assume. Verf looking for the undercut on Heischl here. But Samaxon's controlling the pace. They control the race. Briscoe not in a position to go for an overtake right now. If they wanted to go for one, they have to set it up in this final sector. They have to gain. They have to get to about 4 tenths really if they do want to challenge into that first corner. If they can't get under 5 tenths or within the 5 tenth region, then it would be all over. And it's immediately into the pit lane for Samaxon, as close as you can to the wall, and they gain everything to minimise the damage loss of slowing down going into the pit lane. It's Egapro following along, it's everybody else being unleashed. It's Charlie not able to get DRS on Briscoe up in front once more. It's nip and tuck between them. It's now Heischl up to P5, not making that pit stop. Samaxon is the lead runner for the pit stops, and Verf will catch up nicely to Egapro. Not only will they catch up from the undercut, but they will also have much hotter tyres, and they'll be able to gain that extra bit. And I think they'll be able to find the DRS range. If they've not already got it, they have already got it on the Serbian driver. That's going to help them massively, and Heischl is going to be pretty far behind. They're going to have to hope that the difference in tyre life is going to be worth it though. Briscoe leading the way, and they're going to be making that lead call for the pit runners. The Williams driver, do they pull off to the right hand side? They do make that call. It forces Charlie to stay out. Charlie can't do anything about it. They have to stay out. There goes Niffo, and this is a terrible moment for Charlie's race if they wanted to make that pit stop. Heischl though, with Charlie making that decision to stay out. So is there something that we can't see? Is this a strategy that could potentially work? Briscoe leads the pit lane. Where's Samaxon going to be in all of this? As you look behind, but it's actually quite nicely ahead, to be honest. It's almost side by side. It's going to be tight, as Briscoe Jr. almost had a go at overtaking, doing the overcut, and maybe the advantage isn't that much. How are we going to see this one play out? Niffo, 2.3 seconds. They've got effectively a car missing in between, and they've just not had as great a pit stop as Briscoe has. Briscoe's managed to hold on to DRS range of Samaxon, which is absolutely brilliant. Exactly what they needed. They wanted a bit more, but it's what they needed. Niffo has a big airbox in the middle of them and the car in front, and Charlie needs to try and fill that in if they can. But currently staying out on track. Do they make that dive into the pit lane? Watch their car dive to the right hand side. They do so, and they go as fast as they possibly can and brake as late as they can, locking up the tyres marginally. There's Heischl in as well, and we'll see how this all plays out. And a brilliant lap right there from Samaxon means Briscoe cannot have DRS range, and that's going to bring everything completely to a close on the battle side. But where's Charlie and Heischler going to end up Charlie behind Niffo. Charlie's going to be battling with the 2 cars behind it. It's almost going to be 3 wide as Verf goes for the move and gets in front of Igapro. Igapro looks for the switchback and looks for the outside line, turning to the inside. Gets into the slipstream of the Williams and makes it through. Absolutely incredible. The racing of a champion will help you out nicely. The experience that he gains is incredible. Charlie up in front, and they're now very much further up into this train as they was from earlier on. So is Verf. They've gained 2 positions on both McLarens and Niffo. Niffo's had an issue. Niffo's had more of an issue, and we didn't see what went on. They've had some sort of spin or something because they were clearly ahead. They were in P4 and everything's been switched up. I didn't see it, unfortunately. But that's frustrating. It's front wing loss, so there's been contact somewhere with a barrier. It wouldn't have been with a car, I don't think, because they weren't close enough to Charlie, so I'm not sure where that would have been, but it must have been the first sector somewhere. We see the top 2 close together once again. Charlie now 5.8 seconds away from P1 and 2, but they've got pressure from Igapro. Igapro not going for the move, just looking for the braking point, and they've got Verf behind for company. We then see the 2 McLarens racing in P6 and 7 at this stage, following each other as close as they can. Their race has gone very differently to as they would have hoped. Niffo goes into the pit lane. Down to P9, unfortunately, for the Dutchman after being in the train for the win earlier on. It's the way racing goes. Lap 17 out of 33, and we're well over the halfway mark of this race now. Kelly's got some pressure behind, fighting for the podium positions at this stage. The top 2 marginally within DRS of each other. Is it going to be possible to maintain that for Briscoe, or is it just going to be a little bit too late? DRS, is it available? And it is. Perfect stuff from the Williams. The other one, though, it's going to be trying to hold on ahead of Igapro, and I think it's going to be possible. A little bit too far back with the fastest lap just to intimidate the rest behind you is going to help nicely. There's a switch between the 2 McLarens as Jericho Willis allows Heischler to go in front. Four tenths, a much better lap this time from Briscoe. So Maxon has to think a bit harder now of what's going to happen into the first corner. Their final sector always appears to be mighty relative to the Williams. DRS and ERS being used. Briscoe is going to try and give it a shot, and it's going to be surely the inside line, the attempt for the lead. There it is. P1 for the Williams, and they're ahead. So Maxon can't do anything about that one. The mic was just too much. ERS is still going to be limited though. Would they try and go for the comeback? No. Driving the car to the outside line. They had to lift and back off. That is Briscoe Jr. into the lead of the Grand Prix for the first time. Lap 19 out of 33. Charlie and Igapro continue in their train, followed by a few cars behind. Heischler tries to make progress and get within this battle as well, if they can. It's not quite so simple. We're going to see a battle between Tom and Nifayan as well at the same time. Will we see this move be done into the first corner? And there it is, as straightforward as it can be with DRS and ERS to use. P1 and P2 half a second away, inverted from where we've seen them before. Will Maxon try and get back ahead immediately, or are they going to sit in P2? No, much quicker decision to make that move. I say much quicker, a lot easier to make that move. The ERS wasn't really being abused by Briscoe, and there it is. Samaxon back into P1 in the following laps. We've got a train of 3. That's Charlie, Igor and Verf, P3, 4 and 5. Heischler still 2 tenths away from this battle. They can't do anything at the moment. They're just locked out of it. They're doing what they can. Tom having their issues earlier on, and that is if we're going for a fast lap on their fresh tyres, and Solkin having their damage in the first few laps as well. They've made some good progress on their teammate, and they're looking to try and get some extra points if they can on their German counterpart. Samaxon 7 tenths now in front. Briscoe still holds on to DRS range, but won't be in an easy attacking position. Being that far back, they'll just have to watch this one. For now, 4.8 seconds. Charlie holds on to the cars ahead, mediating the gap between them in front. Heischler still can't quite find a way through to have a go at making progress on this train. This train is just a little bit too far away, yet so close. You can look at the battery, how much they're having to work to try and gain, but it's just not possible to do anything about it. With Charlie being the one leading the way, and there not really being any DRS training. The DRS train isn't exactly being super effective. Ooh, and unfortunately that's Tom having the issue, and there it is. So Solkin gets through. Tom doesn't have any damage, but a big spin switches the 2 Ferraris. And now they try and maybe make progress on Niffer, but Niffer's on some pretty fresh tyres as well, so that's going to be virtually impossible. That 21 to 22 out of 33. It's a very, very, very close Portuguese driver to the back of the Polish driver, and they make the move quite nicely. With a bit of a gap in front now as they try and control a little bit of the race as they were trying to do earlier on. Is this going to be a more successful stint ahead of Samaxon, or are they going to switch again immediately? Well, the Williams now has clean air. They've got to try and get used to it. They've got basically half a lap to get used to it, half a lap to maintain or gain a sufficient gap to be able to stay ahead without risk of being re-overtaken with DRS, and then they can find the rhythm. So they are pushing. That's what you can see right now, 7 tenths. It's going to be brutal, but Samaxon in this middle and final sector seems to be mighty. With the help of DRS as well, it's only going to get better, and Samaxon will try and get back in front once more. In the meantime, Verf losing a bit of a gap between the 2 cars in front, and that brings Heischler into the battle, brings them out of it. So this is going to be an interesting one to see. We will see Samaxon though. Would they try and challenge into the first corner before we go back to see what's happening with Verf and co? Samaxon is going to pressure, and they are going to go back into P1 immediately. Nice and straightforward racing line is taken. Heischler, are they going to push for the move? They do so, and there's no DRS for the Sauber, so they're going to just have to let that one happen. And now the two McLarens are split up for the first time in a long time in this Grand Prix. Jericho Willis left by his teammate in the dust with no DRS to help. As Verf tries to do everything they can, but somehow they've even lost DRS despite slingshotting, so Heischler's got a lot of work to do. They've just made that move of using some ERS, and they've got to try and find even more. They've got to dig deeper to get that DRS on EgaPro, otherwise they're going to find themselves in exactly the same position as they were earlier on, just one position higher. And I think they have found themselves in exactly the same position as they were earlier on, except from one position higher, and with no DRS for Igor or Charlie ahead. Currently it's all free game at the moment. Everybody's just got to gain lap time on each other. It's Briscoe and Samaxon. The only two cars to have that DRS, obviously, and Jericho Willis and Verf. Jericho Willis making good progress to get back into the train there. Eichler almost catching up, but not quite getting there themselves. Briscoe didn't go for the move in the end. Only 1.9 seconds ahead of Igor. Igor not able to quite find it for the podium right now. It's a double Williams podium in P2 and 3, but Briscoe trying to make that a 1-3 if they can. Maxon trying to return to take a victory. That would be a glorious way to make it happen. 3.8 seconds. Charlie finding some good pace on the leaders at the moment, but with that DRS, a 3.8 second gap is going to be difficult to fathom. Pro also maintaining more or less, just losing very slightly lap by lap on the cars ahead. There's Briscoe into P1. There's Heichler into DRS of Pro. Verf and Jericho Willis will be brought along with them. As we go to the final stages, we really do have to focus on these two. The anticipation builds. I don't know how this is going to go. It's going to be tough. But when you fight for a victory from start all the way to the end, you really want it. And the emotions ramp up slowly but surely. So Maxon wanting it. Briscoe needing it after missing out on so many occasions so far. The skies look clear. I don't think we're going to see any rain in this Grand Prix. It's going to be all about playing the DRS to perfection. Who can manage the ERS to get it done as well? ERS being used, and Samaxon wants to be in P1, and they get to P1, and they charge through with that DRS helping them on the way. It's going to be Heichler making the move on Pro for the first time and making their way into P4 in this race. Jericho Willis, our championship leader, down in P7. Verf. Oh, Pro makes a mistake as they lose the car. Jericho Willis will go through. The train stays as it is, but it's all of a sudden split up, and Verf can't quite find the pace to stay within the DRS range, and I think they might have just lost that now. I think it's going to be game over, and Heichler's just had a free pass to be able to stay in front and not be challenged once again. Now our championship leader in P6 with our challenger in P5, and then we've got Heichler who looks to try and gain. I don't think they're going to be able to retake or to take the championship lead at this stage, but Jericho Willis will be able to just about maintain their championship lead. It's going to be tight. It's all going to be sewing itself up nicely. It's still going to be brutal though. That 27 out of 33, Briscoe Jr. leads into turn 1. We're going to see Jericho Willis move to the outside line on Verf, and it's an easy switch, and there's nothing really dramatic about that one, other than Pro didn't have an opportunity to get through. No battery after making that mistake. They've been scrambling to find the pace more. It's going to be a look to the inside line, as Verf's pace just doesn't quite seem to be there today. That's a yellow. Oh no! No, what's happened? I do not believe it! Charlie, once again with issues. What has gone on? Oh, what a shame. Off the circuit they go, and I don't think it's a puncture. I think they've just lost the car through turn 3. The traction's gone down, and Heichler's promoted to the podium positions. What a shame for Charlie, colliding with the wall, and there is no puncture on that car this time. It's going to be Jericho Willis with a time penalty just to add to it. Unfortunately, after all the drama just kicks off for a split second, it's Briscoe Jr. leading the way. It's Samaxon taking that place immediately. It's going to be no challenge for anyone except for maybe Verf, who wants to have a look but doesn't quite have the ability to, doesn't have the energy to get ahead of Jericho Willis. McLaren in 3 and 4, looking to extend their lead in the Teams Championship and making good progress. With that time penalty that Jericho Willis has, that makes it incredibly difficult for Heischler, as Verf will now be able to gain some extra points, and it will be harder for Heischler to gain the extra as well. It's going to make it even tighter than we thought it would be. EagerPro's just going to try and do everything they can to maximise their race out of all of this. And there it is, promoted, everybody one position as Charlie retires in the pit lane. Doesn't want to even score 1 point. Samaxon leads the way. It's Briscoe Jr. in P2. Now teammateless in this race, with DRS charging as they prepare for the final stages of this race. Samaxon is going to have to make the call to try and show they still got it. So far so good. Heischler P3, making progress after a terrible qualifying, doing what they could. It's Jericho Willis doing what they can to help their teammate out as well. And now they've just got to make sure that Verf and Igor don't get through and manage the risk behind. Of course, with, however, that time penalty, it's going to make it incredibly difficult to do anything in this race. Verf just has to make sure that they don't get overtaken by EagerPro. If they can get ahead of Heischler, that's even better. But they've just got to make sure that they don't get overtaken by EagerPro, because otherwise that is a disaster. 2 more points would be lost. And all for what? Briscoe holding on. Starting lap 30. Counting it down. Everything's getting to crunch time. And they immediately jolt to the right hand side as they're not looking for the move. They turn the battery off as they travel towards the first corner. They've got to not get caught out, because all of a sudden what you could see, and what you're seeing right now, is Samaxon backing off and then pushing immediately. And that's a strategy that can be used. You back off, you allow your rival to just fall into a false sense of security and then push like a madman, and all of a sudden it's impossible for the car behind to regain. But for now it seems to be all good and managed by Briscoe. That being said, Tom isn't exactly that far away, and they are a lapped car. So Maxon's hoping that this plays right into their hands. For the race's sake, I hope that we get a good race to the end and we don't get any blue flagged DRS shenanigans, because that would be pretty frustrating to see after all of this anticipation and hard work that these guys have run through to try and make this work. Lap 31, and we continue to count another lap off. And Briscoe, I assume, is not going to want to go into P1 once more. They gain, they back off, and they tuck in. It is time for the tuck. We've got a battle brewing as well, P4 and above. It's all a little bit tricky. EagerPro versus Verf. Jericho Willis just a mobile chicane at the moment with that time penalty. Pace-wise not, but just with the time penalty it makes it incredibly difficult. But doing a phenomenal job to help their teammate get into the position where they are at. And it's actually making it incredibly difficult for EagerPro to do anything about it. Realistically, they need to switch for Heischler's sake, so we'll see what Jericho Willis does with that. But it's DRS, it's ERS available for Briscoe on lap 32 out of 33. Are they going to leave it to the last lap, or are they going to push this time? They're putting the battery on. They are pushing with the battery. They look to the outside line. They've got half a battery left. It's going to be side by side. It's a front wing held in by Sir Maxon. Now as they go up the hill, they look to try and go for a switchback. The inside line tucking into the slipstream. Where do they go? And it's not going to be an option to go back in front. It's an interesting call for Briscoe Jr., but they've opted to go into the lead in this final moment. Are they realising that there's a Ferrari up in front and they might get lucky with the DRS? Are they hoping for that? Is that going to be the plan, or are they hoping a different strategy? Are they hoping that they're going to be ahead on genuine pace by the time we get to the first corner? Eager Pro pushes the limits too far, and Verf will be clear to take P4 on their own. Eager Pro gets a 3-second time penalty. The final lap is upon us, and Tom is very much there. And Briscoe was hoping for the DRS, but Tom backs off and lets the battle go ahead. Briscoe now in P1, but DRS is not available. It's 8 tenths, and they've done a masterclass final sector in the penultimate lap of the race to start the final lap. Now 5 tenths ahead by turn 1. Briscoe Jr. has played that to perfection. Do they have enough battery to hold on from the might of Sir Maxon in the Haas? Is it going to work? I don't quite know. ERS is neck and neck. Determination is all that matters now. Lap 33 out of 33. It's all come to this. The pole sitter versus the rookie. The champion versus the rookie. What's it going to be? I think we've got our answer already. Unless it goes drastically wrong, Briscoe Jr. is looking to take their first ever LSI Grand Prix victory. What a way to do it. What a way against the reigning champion themselves. The final few corners. It's been a brilliant journey. Briscoe Jr. has just got a couple of turns to make, and they will take it after all of the tries. They failed a few occasions, but now, without giving up, they've got the job done. Briscoe wins the Spanish Grand Prix, and Sir Maxon in P2 with a brilliant battle. Heischler up to P3 after a terrible qualifying there. It's static with that result in the end, and Jericho Willis will take that P4, demoted down to P5, as Verf will get that P4 in the end. There's Eager Pro and Nifo, P7, scoring points but nowhere near where they wanted to be in the end after the race that they were having. They would have been in the fight for the victory. It's Selkin in P8 and Tom in P9. Briscoe Jr. winning what is the closest thing to their home Grand Prix in the season. What a way to do it. What a way. And I think we've just had our first ever LSI winner from Portugal, making history today for Williams. P1 it is. How about that? Briscoe takes the win in Spain. It's Sir Maxon in P2 and Heischler in P3. We've got Verf, Jericho Willis, Eager Pro, Nifo and Sulkin with Tom in P9. DNFing earlier on was Charlie. Fastest lap there, a 14.3 for Nifo after making that pit stop. We save the results. We look at the race director just in case, and we'll go to the pit stop section. We'll be back in a bit for the post-race interviews. We'll see you then. Hello everyone, welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Spanish Grand Prix. That was absolutely insane. The anticipation to the end, very good to watch. We start with Jericho. Jericho, a brilliant qualifying. Unfortunately in the race it just didn't quite seem to be there. What happened?
Yeah, it was a good qualifying. Big thank you to Heish. She gave me a great slipstream. Helped a lot, at least a couple of tenths, I would say there, or just about a couple of tenths. So really, really happy with that. The lap came together nicely. Starting second, I didn't get a great launch off the line, and then made contact with Briscoe in the first sequence of corners, and so dropped back from there. And I guess it was just in my head because I thought I had damage. It seemed like I was understeering everywhere, but I checked on the condition of the car and it said there wasn't any. So I think that was just in my head. But yeah, just everyone was really quick, and any tiny mistake was badly punished. So once Heish got ahead of me and Verth was behind me, I was trying to push up to get into the DRS on Heish, and he was wondering if he should wait for me, and I thought I could push up and catch him without him slowing up much, but I couldn't quite do it and made a little mistake and picked up that penalty. And once I had that, there wasn't a whole lot. There was just kind of push hard to hold on to that position, see if anything happened. Tried to push hard on the last lap to build a gap, but couldn't quite get it to 3 seconds on any of the guys behind. So that was it. But overall, pretty happy. I mean, this is not a good track for me usually, and to kind of finish midfield on a track that's quite weak for me, I think I can be pretty satisfied with that.
Definitely. I think that's well said. And yeah, it's a tough one. It's a hard circuit to drive. It's a very heavy circuit to drive, I think. So it's a great effort to get through it. So thank you very much. And really good effort today. I think you have helped out the team a lot, and you have helped out your teammate in the championship. You're still the championship leader, so congratulations with that one. And we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo. Yeah, Nifo, that was an interesting one. Unfortunately, we didn't actually get to see what happened on stream. The pace looked good to begin with, and then something happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think even in quali, considering how close everybody was and how, I mean, historically speaking, and just it's just never been a good track. So I think quali was good, and I think I drove, a perfect first stint. It's just knowing I don't have pure pace, but I think I didn't make a single mistake. I don't even think I went wide at any point. So yeah, I did that. I pitted. Strategy was good, setup was good, fuel was good, and yeah, I just took the normal line I did every time into a 2, and apparently there's a bump and your car bottoms out. I didn't have any weird inputs, no big steering lock, no big power or whatever. That's not what you normally do, and it just bottomed out and it shot me to the left, and there's nothing I could do to save it. And then yeah, it's been a while since I put the car on the wall like that, but yeah, I mean, seeing how the season goes, I'm not really surprised. And yeah, then you're just alone in your own head for the second stint, and you don't make a mistake again. You just have to. I mean, I think even then it was pretty perfect. I didn't make any mistakes, but yeah, it doesn't matter because you're so far away from everybody. Yeah, it's really races like this where you're just in your own head, really thinking on what's the point. Because every race is something, and I feel like this is the most sour one because I don't think I did anything wrong other than that. And even then, I don't know. I don't understand how it happened. It's just, I think the normal line and it just bottomed out. So yeah, it's sour. I don't know. I'm just speechless, to be honest. But yeah, you just gotta live with it. I still got somewhat points, so that's okay, I guess. Better than DNF.
What you did earlier on wasn't unrecognised. I think it's tough to take, and all I can say is I know I can't do anything about it, but I'm sorry to see that happen with the game issues. Spain just seems to be a cursed circuit. I thought they fixed it, but maybe they didn't. So I'm sorry, Nifo. Thank you very much, though, for your efforts. You did a very good job when you were able to be given the opportunity by the game, and I hope we can see that continue for when we next see you. Thank you very much, Niffer. And we move on to Tom. Tom, that was a tough one. What happened in the beginning? You're on the wrong tyre.
Nah, I wasn't really in the wrong tire. It was a last-minute choice for me.
Okay.
Like, in terms of tire wear, I'm probably around the same as everybody else. So it's just a slight bit lower, or more than the other guys. But as soon as I hit 60% tire wear, I just get completely lost for myself, and I completely lose out on pace. So I had to go for the two-stop. I know that I can't make the one-stop any conveniently. So yeah, two-stop, and then last minute or last second call, I choose the soft tire over the medium tire, because I know I can make it to lap 8, lap 9 with the soft. And I just wanted to have the grip advantage at the start, which worked really good. Lost the second just from the line, and then I had the slight contact with I think Worth in turn 3, broken front wing, and I was just losing out. So I had to take an early pit stop. Yeah, and from that moment on, slight hope I had to just stay in the race was gone, and I just tried to survive on the hard tires. But it's just really hard for me. Like, I practiced quite a bit, felt pretty confident, liked the setup, and then I think I'm somewhat fast, but then I just turn on to the race, and just in the qualifying already that everybody's 6, 7 tenths faster than me in the middle sector. I don't really know how or why. And then it just, let's try something, but yeah, there's just no chance for me. I don't know if it was a setup, or if it's even, or I'm just not good enough on this year's game. But there's just something off for me just to turn in every race and just see how much quicker everybody else is.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. It's a decent grid that we have at the moment, and it doesn't make it easy when you want to compete at the level. So, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but hopefully it can be on the up at some point. Thank you very much, Tom. And we move on to Brusco. Brusco, congratulations! That's your first ever Grand Prix victory in LSI. You've made history. The first ever Portuguese driver to win a Grand Prix in LSI F1 as well. Can you take us through it? Because that was an intense race, all the way from the beginning to the end, trying to take the lead. At the beginning, actually, trying to get that DRS for lap after lap after lap.
Thank you. It was a very good race with good fights. In quali, was really happy with P3. I had more race setup than quali setup. It was a 300 difference to P1, but I was really happy with that. So yeah, in the race, I fought really hard with the McLaren, I think, with Jericho.
Yep.
At the beginning, I just wanted that P2 so hard, and I have to see the replay if there was an incident or it was my fault. I have to see the replay. I lost the DRS to Simaxon, but yeah, my pace I thought it was really good at the beginning. We pitted very early. I was surprised that Simaxon pitted at lap 12. So yeah, he had to manage his tires until the end. So did I. Was really worried about Charlie at lap 13 until 20 because he was catching on really quickly and with better tires. But I think he spun, and it was a relief.
Yeah.
I felt that. But yeah, at the end, I felt that that one lap tire make the difference, and yeah, it was a good fight with Simaxon, just playing the DRS games to see if Charlie didn't catch on so quickly, and really happy to take the first win. let's carry this win
Were
yeah.
you
next week.
were you at all worried about losing out, because you made that overtake on the penultimate lap, so there was another lap that Sir Maxon had an opportunity to get
Yeah.
back through.
I had the full ERS, so it was and with better tires. I think with the 510ths in that straight, it's really hard because the it's a short. It's not short straight, but I think 500s makes a difference. So yeah, I just deploy all the ERS, and I think it made it was good.
It was good.
So yeah,
it was very good. Congratulations, and
thank you.
Start of an era. Thank you very much, Rishko. It's been a few attempts with those pole positions on the sprint win, but you finally got there. The Grand Prix victory is yours. Congratulations.
Yeah,
And
thank
we'll
you.
see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Heisler. Heisler, I think you're pretty happy with that, crossing the line. It looked like you enjoyed that one.
This is probably the hardest race for me yet this season. I knew I had a low downforce track setup. I saw it already in quality that my first sector was way quicker than anyone else's. So it's already hard to follow around Spain. There's a lot of dirty air in every corner. So I was struggling. I felt like I had no pace, but it was, I think, mostly because I was in dirty air and it was hard to overtake for anyone in the train. So I calmed down towards the end of my first stint. I already knew I would pit later than anyone else because the warm-up time for the hard is like a lap, so it takes some time to warm it up. So I knew the undercut wouldn't be as strong as usual. And in the end, it looked like I had better tires overall as well. My pace was, in my opinion, quite good. Maybe not as good as Charlie's pace, who sadly spun, but his pace was probably the best on the grids today. So yeah, I'm very happy with this result. I'm sad that I couldn't fight with the top two, because when I was in clean air, I saw that I wasn't really much slower, even a little bit quicker, but I think that's due to the tires. So I think I could have fought them as well, but that's just the quality that's hampering me, and this has hampered me throughout the season. But it doesn't really seem to ruin my championship run so far. And my race results are really consistent and not lower than P4, so I just gonna continue what I'm doing, focusing on the race instead of the quali, and the tracks will only become easier except for Hungary and Japan to overtake. So I'm looking forward to the rest. Yeah, so happy with the race.
Yeah, awesome. Well said. It's looking strong. It's looking very tight in the championship. I can't wait. Thank you very much, Heisler. Really good effort today. Great to see you progress through the field, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Sir Maxon. Sir Maxon, I'm not entirely sure if you wanted to do an interview or not, but welcome back. Congratulations on a brilliant drive. It was a brilliant effort, a pole position on return. Just missing out there in the victory today. Can you take us through it, and those final laps, of course, more importantly?
Yeah, firstly starting with quali, I don't know, made a lot of mistakes in basically every quali run. I think we're all like in the span of 9,000ths of a second. And only the first one was the best one. Yeah, just making mistakes, but it was still good enough for pole. And then in the race, I really wasn't expecting to pull away, and I think what was coming from my mind when creating this setup was that if I go higher wings, I tested that I basically have like almost no dirty air. I can just like be close enough to overtake on the streets, and yeah, the trains didn't happen. So yeah, I think the high wings just did not work.
Yeah.
And because of that, also, I might have went too low on the tire pressure, so the tires were just overheating. And even though I really don't like driving on the circuit, the way how unstable my car was just making it enjoyable. And on those last few laps, tires were dead. That's why I pitted early. Lap 13, I had 82%. So yeah, just the tires were dead.
Yeah.
And then on the last 2 laps, I think I just didn't have the top speeds, and then I saw that tires are like at 80% with 2 laps to go. So
So a
save.
combination then took you out for the victory there.
Yes, but yeah, Briscoe deserved it. He had the pace. I mean, yeah, Charlie also probably was faster than us, but unfortunately spun. But that's what really you do to win the races. You try to minimize the mistakes, and that's what Briscoe did today. He deserved it.
For sure, for sure. Well said from you, and interesting about the tyres. Really, good effort though. You allowed us to have a lot of anticipation to the end, and yeah, it was pretty impressive. Thank you very much, Maxwell. Good to see you back, and we'll see you when we next see you. Thank you.
Not know when.
And we move on to Charlie. Charlie, that was a tough one. Fighting for the victory for the longest time, and then just all of a sudden off into the wall when we saw you. What happened?
Well, in that moment, I think it was just like I lost concentration or something. I got distracted. I don't know. I just started thinking about other things and just slightly touched the grass on the exit of what is it, turn 4, and just spun. Couldn't do anything. Just into the wall. But anyway, this like every race up until this point, I've had like one crucial mistake, and like it's something for me to learn, because like every race is a different mistakes. Like it's something that I have to like, I don't know, take into consideration and like work on. But yeah, like otherwise up until that point I was really happy with the race, even though I was like 5-4 seconds behind the guys in front. I couldn't pit when they did because, well, I'm in the same team as Brasco, so yeah, I had to wait another lap. I could have pitted with some action, but yeah, I just couldn't make the decision in time, unfortunately. But yeah, like otherwise the performance was like insane. I don't know, like something changed like day to day. I don't know if it was the setup or whatever. The setup was really good. The pace was really good. Like everything up until the spin was like insane. So yeah, I don't know. I just have to like look at the whole picture, like at the mistake and like everything, and just like take everything from it, like to learn, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think if that spin didn't happen, you would have been able to take victory?
No, they were way too far, to be honest. I was catching like I don't know, like 2-3 tenths per lap maybe, and it was still like at least even with 3 seconds, and like was it, I don't know, 7-8 laps to go. Honestly, pretty impossible, but yeah, it was a good effort anyway.
Yeah, it was a good effort, and if you finish the race, you're looking like you're going to break the P5 curse. You've broken the P5 curse
I
anyway.
did.
You've broken it anyway. So hopefully it only goes up from here. Thank you very much, Charlie. Really good effort today. I'm sorry that it went the way it did, but hopefully see you soon and get that good result. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And we move on to the end of the stream. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for the Spanish Grand Prix for the F1.5 EU Championship. Hopefully we've got the right stream graphics for that one that time. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next week for the... I've forgotten the race already, and I literally just checked it. Brazilian Grand Prix for the sprint race event, the second and final sprint race event of the season. Have a good one. Bye-bye.